So, video 3. It's a bit later than expected, but you know, you've had enough content, and also this means that you're getting, I guess, crazy AJ content over the weekend, and then into next week, crazy me, because I've got this, which is the TV analysis. I've got the Mae Young Classic video, which will probably go up tomorrow, Sunday, if I can get it set up and everything. And then Monday there will be a game with Ash, because South Park weren't interesting. So we'll get into that, obviously, Monday. So, everything that will be covered will be last week's content, Thursday to Wednesday. So I'm currently, I know, a week behind on Impact, but this was supposed to be the Wednesday content. It's basically just that, just cut down into one video. So, we'll start off, I guess, with the WWE-based stuff. So that leads us into Smackdown. And Orton opens up basically saying, you know, he's seen so many people crash and burn the company. You know, so many stars. And sure, Nakamura's a star, but the question is, will he rise or fall? And, you know, he RKO'd him last week, and you got to remember, if you're distracted at any one moment, you'll go down. Nobody's going to get in my way. Nobody's going to stop the Viper. And Nakamura says, look, I respect your legend, but I know how to inflict pain like nobody. I'm chasing my destiny, and that's that belt. And the pain that I'll inflict on you will be felt everywhere. I think this was like separate backstage promos, but there you go. So Ellsworth and Carmella are in the ring, but Kevin Owens interrupts, and he comes out and says, "Good news, I'm the special guest referee for this match." So he's trying to get the referee's shirt, but then Shane makes his way out, and he's like, "Look, you can't be the ref, Kev. You know, I've been patient, and you've been defiant, and I want to make one thing clear." And Kevin's like, "Oh, what's that? You know, stop blaming me for all your losses. You blame me at SummerSlam. Or I said, look, if you do anything to me, I will respond. 2 weeks ago, you had a chance at the title. You picked your ref, and your hand-picked ref just walked." And Kevin just said, "Corbin left because you pulled him out the ring. I never wanted you on SmackDown." Well, you know, let's be honest, you never wanted me on SmackDown, did you, Shane? And you know, neither did I. I'd rather be on Raw. And Shane's like, is that because Triple H gave you the belt? Yeah, because that ain't how it works here. You got to earn your way to the belt. You know, don't blame me for why you're not successful. Blame yourself. And Kevin's like, so you really doesn't think it hasn't got anything to do with you? You've got to make everything about you. You know, why do you do these things to get on the spotlight? Is it because Daddy didn't give you enough attention? You know, and you're willing to make your kids dance around during your entrance. And Shane's like, don't bring up my kids. So Kevin's like, oh, you know, Hell in a Cell, you're trying to impress your kids by diving off a cell? You know, your family would have been better off if you didn't survive that helicopter crash. Your dad, your wife, and especially your kids. And obviously this triggers Shane, and punches. Owens goes to the floor, and he's punching him and punching him and punching him, and Daniel Bryan's like, what the hell is going on? And Kevin's being helped to the back, and Daniel's checking on him, and Bryan like, look, I apologize for what Shane did. And Kevin's like, yeah. Shane, look, he couldn't help it. You know, you did provoke him, but... And Kevin just goes, enjoy what's left of your job, because SmackDown's literally going to be the Kevin Owens show from now on. I'm going to sue every McMahon. I'll take WWE down. Shane will regret putting his hands on me. And Daniel's like, look, can we handle this a better way? And Kevin goes, yeah, I'm going to go and press criminal charges on Shane. So now we actually get the match. Carmella and Natalya, non-title. And so interestingly, we get to the end. So Carmella stops the sharpshooter. Natalya throws her into the turnbuckles, and Carmella goes for a near fall then soon after. So then Ellsworth brings the briefcase in the ring. And Carmella goes, I'm not cashing in. I am not cashing in. Rolls her up. 1, 2, 3, Natalya wins. And Ellsworth's all apologetic and everything. And Carmella says, you don't have to say you're sorry, because I know you're sorry. You're a sorry excuse for a person. Hell, look at you. You aren't even human. You know, you're the worst thing that I've ever seen. You know, do I need a genetic defect like you, Ellsworth? You know, actually, thinking about it, why the hell have you still got a job? Let's be honest, you're a charity case and your mother should have given you away at birth. And you've stuck your creepy little chin into my business for the last time. We are through. So I don't know whether this is the breakup or whether this is the work and then, oh, look, we had you all thing. So, you know, we'll see. So then here comes Dolph Ziggler. And says, all of you have no appreciation for what I can do in the ring. You'd rather sit on your hands and sit unsatisfied with the greatest performer in WWE history in front of you. Shame on all of you. You don't want me. You'd rather have some dumb gimmick. So then John Cena's music hits, and out comes Ziggler sort of looking like Cena. The great thing is the crowd still chant John Cena sucks. So there you go. Did that work for you? Nah, you saw right through that. How about some nostalgia? So then we get Randy Savage stuff, and it's like, you know, you're not buying that because you usually buy the nostalgia. You usually buy that nostalgia crap, and then wants the lights to come out, and then bloody comes out to Naomi's music with like a glowing wig on. It's like, is this what it's come to? Anybody can do all that. Anyone. But no one can do what I can do in that ring. But since you couldn't care less, I don't give a damn about any of you. You make me sick. I think I know who he's going to be facing. I think it might be Glorious, though. Maybe. So Nathan English is about to sing, but Sami Zayn interrupts instead because he's facing him next in the match. The match, I think, goes about 1.5 minutes with Aiden English winning with an Oklahoma roll. And it was like, okay. And then he finishes his song only to be chased off by Sami Zayn to the back. So Daniel Bryan sort of peeved in his office. New Day come in and he's happy. And then the Usos come in and he's like, so okay, what's the stipulation for the tag title match? And Jey Uso goes, it's a Sin City street fight. I can't think why. Is it because we're in Vegas? Maybe. And Xavier says, surely the odds are in our favour. And Big E's like, yeah, we're the dealers. And you Usos are about to bust. And it's like, Big E's like so happy with this joke, and everyone else is like, that's a pretty crap joke. And says, look, as his phone's going, guys, I got a call to take. You know, and he's like, on the phone, it's like, look, is there any other way to sort of handle this instead of like inside the ring? Okay, I'll do it right now. So Daniel Bryan goes to the ring and wants Shane to come out. And he's like, what were you thinking, Shane? And Shane's just like, look, things got out of control, I don't know. You know, do you even remember what Miz said to you on Talking Smack? And it's like, holy shit, they're actually bringing up Talking Smack, you know, the show that shouldn't be mentioned because it got cancelled. You know, Miz, you know, he said, like, you know, not being able to get back in the ring. You know, right? I thought about saying the hell with this job and headbutting Miz in the face. But you told me, Shane, that as the GM of Smackdown, I had to put WWE first and the fans first, and the employees first. I restrained myself and did what was best for the company and the show. But the fact of the matter is, you can't insult employees or superstars. You can't run a brand like SmackDown like that. And Shane says, look, I know I've put you in a tough spot and take full responsibility. You know, I shouldn't have touched Owens. But you talked about my family, and it made me go into that blind rage, and I can't be stopped. You know, think about what it was if he said about your newborn kid, Daniel. It's like, look, the WWE's in trouble now. I think he's been in trouble for a few years, whatever. And Daniel goes, look, I'm thinking about the lives of the people in the back. And Shane says, don't worry, I'll handle this. I'll go and talk with Kevin to settle things. And Daniel goes, no. It's too late for that. I got a call from Vince. Effective immediately, you're indefinitely suspended. Keep in mind, this broke, I think, within a few hours of the indefinite suspension of Jarrett. I think it was Tuesday that it broke. So Renee's in the backstage area with Jinder and the Sings, and it's like, who you rather face? And Jinder says, well, I've beaten Orton many times. And all the hype and the social media attention means nothing when you face the modern day Maharaja. You know, and the fact of the matter is, I represent Asia better than Nakamura. I'll be watching that main event closely. May the best man win, only to fall to him. So now AJ's on commentary for Baron Corbin versus Ty Dillinger. With Corbin being a consummate heel. When the referee didn't see it, Corbin punches Dillinger right in the throat. Puts him on the ring post as well. And AJ is like, he's a cheat shot artist. Which is, I don't know if that was a flub of a line, but in actual, when you think of it, it's not a cheap shot artist, but it's also a cheating shot, because obviously it's behind the ref, so who knows. Corbin wins with ends of days, anyway. So when we come back from break, Dillinger's in the back, and AJ pops in and says, look, we had a good fight. And last week, you know, was a good fight, you know, if it wasn't for the interference from Corbin. So the US Open Challenge, the US Title Open Challenge is back next week, but there's only one person that is allowed to compete, and that's you. And Ty is just like, that sounds pretty phenomenal. So, yeah, not too bad for Vegas. Ty Dillinger versus AJ. So then we got a Bobby Roode video package saying it's been a glorious year, which it has. So now Ellsworth backstage trying to talk to Carmelo and says, look, I know you despise me because I screwed everything up. Sure, I'm a freak. I'm a subhuman, and I probably do belong in a zoo. But I want another chance. I'll keep my mouth shut and stay out of your way, and I'll do whatever you want. And Carmella goes, we're doing things my way. And she kisses him, and then slaps him. Tough love. So Jinder and the Sings are watching the main event from a skybox. Nakamura and Orton is a pretty damn good match. Nakamura winning with the, as Corey Graves can actually call it now, Kinshasa! Yeah, very, very, very good match. Well, certainly good. Certainly did deliver. All the implications seem to be that that's going to be now the main event of Hell in a Cell. Whether it'll be a Hell in a Cell match, I don't know. So now Kevin Owens is in the back. It's not over. Post-credit sequence as if it's bloody, you know, bloody Lucha. So Daniel Bryan stops him and says, look, Shane's suspended. The stuff's over. And Kevin goes, no, it's not over. SmackDown's going to be my playground and your nightmare, Daniel. And Daniel goes, I think you better be aware that somebody's coming next week to address the situation. And Kevin's like, oh, is it going to be Shane's wife? And Daniel just goes, no. It's Vince McMahon. And Kevin's face is just like, oh, ba-ba-bam. There you go. That's the lead into the big-ass show, because we now know that the Mae Young Classic Finals are even going to have a red carpet even before SmackDown even is on. So that might be interesting. So then we have 205 Live with comments, leading off with comments from all 5 of the participants in the Fatal 5-Way Elimination match. So then we actually get to the actual stuff. So Daivari says, last week that scrawny TJP cost me my match against Swan, so I'm going to inflict pain now on TJ over and over until he needs those crutches again. But before the match starts, Swan comes to the ring and takes a seat on the announce table with some popcorn, because he wants to see this, considering TJ's actions over the past weeks or so. Not too bad a match. TJ getting the win with a detonation kick, and then afterwards Swan goes into the ring, exchanges some words, and then just dabs in front of him. So they're playing that up interestingly. They then recap Kendrick and Gallagher from the week before, and Gulak's got some pamphlets being handed out because I guess he's in action next, or doing something next. So yeah, they've announced that TJ will be facing Rich Swann on 205 Live next week. I don't know when that's going to be airing, considering Mae Young Classic, and especially considering they're going to Australia and Japan. Part of me wonders whether there's going to be no main event tapings this week, and they're going to be doing 205 Live, not live, either before or after Raw, because obviously, because they're on the West Coast, it's going to be at, 5 p.m. Pacific time? So they could do stuff afterwards. Maybe. I don't know. Because obviously with the Mae Young Classic going on, that's going to be on straight after SmackDown, there's no space for it there to really do it, because I don't know whether you can do 4 hours, so I would not be surprised if that is the schedule. So keep an eye out for that. When we talk about it on Raw, we might even be spoiling 205 Live early. Thus proving it's not 205 Live. It's 205 not live. Literally. So Drew Gulak's out, here to spread the good word, and I believe in freedom of expression. And I'm here to talk about a better 205 Live. Throughout all my struggles, what have I gotten? Well, actually, what haven't I got? And that's a shot in the Fatal 5-Way to get a shot to face Neville. And, I know what you're thinking. Why is WWE stifling my great ideas by keeping me out of the title picture? The fact of the matter is, people fear what they can't understand. So I've got something powerful and fun. A PowerPoint presentation. The first thing, no moves off the top rope. The second thing, no jumping off the middle rope. It's showboating at its second worst. Thirdly, here comes Tozawa to save us from any more PowerPoints. Good match because it's Tozawa and Gulak. Although it's not given a great amount of time and whatever. But Tozawa wins with the back senton. So then we got Enzo backstage interviewed and says, look, I look smart, but it don't take a rocket scientist to know that I'm 3-0. You know, and he's like, so can you measure up to a Cedric Alexander or a Neville? And he says, you know, I haven't travelled the world for 10 years on the Indies, but we're in the same place. I'm working smarter. I'm putting this brand on the map. I'm locked in for the Cruiserweight title, and I'm not taking anybody lightly. And Neville's just interrupting. Because I always like saying that, if it has anything to do with Neville. And he's like, yeah, are you amusing and ridiculous as you look? There's no joking around here. This is for serious people, serious athletes. And you are not serious, Enzo. No, you have no business entertaining the idea that you belong in the same ring. And then Enzo's like, this ain't Game of Thrones. I'm winning the title at No Mercy. If this is what happens, that they put the belt on him at No Mercy, Jesus. So, it goes on for actually a fair bit, this 5-way, before Nice is the first eliminated by the lumbar check from Cedric Alexander. Then pretty soon after that, we get another lumbar check on Grand Metalik. Then another one on Brian Kendrick. So he's done it himself. So during all this point, Enzo, I think, got thrown over the ringside barrier before all 3 of these eliminations happened. Enzo came back in soon after this, rolled up Cedric with a handful of tights, and the face with a handful of tights and stealing victories wins. That's 205 Live. Can you tell I'm miffed? So now we'll jump to NXT. We'll get all the WWE stuff out of the way. So it opens with a recap of the Hideo-Cassius feud, because that's the main event, the no DQ match. So we started off with Almas versus Benoni, which is a rematch from a few months back, which Benoni beat Almas, and that led to the Zelina coming in. And Zelina did commentary on the match, and it was interesting. It was, to be honest, a really well put together short match, because the finish got very interesting. So he went for the the double knees or whatever bit in the corner, and Zelina just said, finish it. Don't mess around. Finish it. Hits him with a hammerlock DDT, and seems to be on the rise, which is a positive thing. So then they recap Future Dragon, as we on Pop Network are calling it, or Popcast Network, whatever. And Regal in his office said, I told the 3 of them that they could be a part of NXT, but all the fighting will be taking place in the ring only. So Christy was then outside Asuka's locker room. I mean, it's probably Asuka's locker room because the mask was on the door and everything. And Velveteen Dream interrupted, and he said, I've seen somebody here that needs the experience of the Velveteen Dream. I'll be speaking very soon. It's like, okay. So now Lars Sullivan with new music, taking on 3 guys. Interestingly though, Lars told the ref before the match started, this isn't a 3-on-1 tag. I want all 3 people in the ring at once. and Lars just destroyed them all. And then, interestingly, that then cut to a recap of Sanity being laid out last week, we believe, by Red Dragon, you know, the backstage bit that they had. The Lars Sullivan Free Guys thing, I guess, never had a finish. Or something. So then there was a self-filmed Sanity promo, sort of old school Shield-esque, with Young basically telling Future Dragon attacking them was a big mistake, and Wolf's like, he only cared about chaos, and it's like, okay, is this a dig at New Japan or something? So Zeta, Sonya Deville, they made it out like it was an MMA thing, because Sonya hit the knee to the chest, and Zeta quickly tapped out to an armbar. Which, considering the gimmick that she's supposed to be having, it's like, yeah. My only problem is, if Shayna Baszler is going to become an actual full-time member of the roster, and not just for this 4 Horsewoman gimmick, Sonya Deville is not going to be very good when you've got somebody that's a legit MMA fighter. I mean, Sonya does have the background and everything, but it's like, I mean, well, with the Mae Young Classic, they had a match, I think, against each other, and it was like, yeah, no. So then we had Danny Burch and Orny Lorcan training at the Performance Center as a tag team, and Regal's watching them and is impressed. Then Ruby Riott pops in and says, I want a handicap match with Peyton and Billy. And Regal says, I can't do that. But what I can do is give you a tag match, and you've got to find a partner. So, it's interesting there that we're teasing the fact that Lorcan and Burch, bitter enemies and everything, might be a damn good tag team. Man, those two versus Red Dragon? Ooh, that got interesting. So then the no DQ match, Ono and Itami. Really good, just like last week's main event. The finish came with Ono blocking a low kick, so Itami poked him in the eye. Goes for the GTS. Ono avoids it. Low blows Itami, connects with the rolling elbow, gets the win, but yeah, very good. Very, very good. But then we had Regal bringing out Asuka. And Asuka says, I've been here for almost 2 years and I've fought so many great superstars. I've loved this company. And I've been so grateful. And Regal complimented her and saying how she was one of the greatest champs in WWE history. Before announcing that Asuka's began negotiations with Raw and SmackDown. And now basically revealing that she's going to have to she's stepping down as NXT champ. And Asuka says nobody was ready for me, and the rest of the women's division then came out onto the stage, followed by other people in the roster as well. And Asuka's like, wherever I went, NXT would go with me. And then Ember stepped out and came to the ring. And Ember went for a handshake and then turned it away. Just like the TakeOver build. And then they hugged. And Triple H came in, presenting Asuka with flowers. And He gave it the last introduction, you know, the undefeated 523-day reigning champ. They did it as great as they could have done. It's making her look strong, and whether she shows up on SmackDown or shows up on Raw, that's going to be a very interesting situation. I think as the positioning as it goes, I think you've got some interesting stuff regarding possibly Bayley, if they wanted to do that, or Sasha, because that never really happened. And, you know, my views on Nia are very well known, and Emma's in the sort of wrong gimmick, and Alicia's rubbish. Paige's status is who knows. I think she's the better fit for Raw right now, because, you know, you've got the history there. I mean, okay, not Dana Brooke, but, you know, Mickie James had a damn good match with her and lost. Bayley's had damn good matches with her and lost on NXT pay-per-view, you know, style events. So there's more of an angle there that I think could be interesting. So we'll see. We will see. Of course, next week we get the UK title match between Wolfgang and Dunn, which I've heard pretty good. So now this is Impact from August the 31st. So Eli Drake and Chris Adonis are coming to the ring, or the arena, sorry, and American Top Team also showing up, with Dan Lambert getting into an argument with Jeff Jarrett. Apparently they're being let into building after attacking people and whatever. So they recap the gauntlet match with Eli Drake winning it and American Top Team attacking people. So here comes Eli with a giant zebra brink crouch in the ring. And he's like, I've busted my keister for 14 years in this business. I'm still pissed off that it took me that long. And after all the politics and the BS, I'm finally at the top of the mountain, and that's all that matters. And some people say you lose the hunger when you get to the top of the mountain. But, you know, that's bull. I've spent all day by the pool, and then a cougar came to me in a leopard print bikini and offered to give me her jugs. And now I'm the global champ. Nobody can stop me. Not even Jim Cornette. And here comes Johnny Impact. And says, I'm sick of and tired of you running your mouth. And so are the fans. It's not about winning it. It's about keeping hold of it. And I'm here because I want a shot. And now Eddie comes out and goes, this ain't my first rodeo. And I know you got to speak up if you want something. You may be the mega super heavyweight champ, whatever, but you're the world. But I've been the world champion here before, and so I outrank you. I want my title back. And Johnny's like, I don't care who we've got to turn. I don't care who we've got to take down first, but you've had your shot. And then here comes Jim Cornette, and so there's no reason to argue because, you know, the title scene's hotter than a summer Sunday. And fact of the matter is, either one of you is in with a shout of challenging, and Lashley and Matt Sydal. So we're gonna have a tag team match tonight. It's gonna be Johnny Impact and Eddie Edwards versus Chris Adonis and Eli Drake. If Eli gets the win, he doesn't have to defend the title. If anybody else does, he's got to defend the belt against that person. Doesn't say when, from what I remember. So then Ali introduces herself to Taryn Terrell and says, why were you so mean to Gail? And Taryn says, you know, sure, we were BFFs in the past, and it's been a lot, and, you know, I sort of do feel remorseful. And, you know, since you and Gail are such good friends, give her a message. And Ali's like, oh, what is it? And Taryn Terrell beats the shit out of her and says, thanks for passing the message along. Taryn Terrell, tits out, born again Christian. Bing! So now it's Ohio versus everything versus Bakara and Falabar. With LAX watching backstage. OVE win pretty easily. But we know what the Chris brothers can do. Sure, okay, it's not the... They can't do death matches and anything. Mainly because they don't want to do that sort of stuff now. But I've seen them, you know, deathmatch and non-deathmatch tag team in the ring. It's nothing like what this whole OVE gimmick thing is. So it's like, it's really restraining them and just making them look average, which they are not. So Moose is in Cornette's office and says, you know, it's damn great that you've been invited to Triple Mania. And I'm like, why is this being airing now, considering Triple Mania was like the week before? And EC3 is like, where was my invite? And Cornette says, well, it's because you're facing Phantasma Jr. And then they say to EC3, your ass better call somebody. It's like, what? What are we doing Billy Gunn references? So Petey Williams now in action for the first time in years, taking on Caleb Conley. Petey Williams winning with a Canadian Destroyer. Nice little match. The thing is, Petey, despite the fact he's been out of action for so long, it's like, that was actually impressive. And then afterwards, Trevor Lee came in for the attack, only for Sanjay Dutt to make the save. So apparently it looks to be all about battles at Bound for Glory. You got Old versus New, AAA versus GFW, AAA versus Crash, with GFW going, bah. Who knows? So Richard Justice is doing squats and he's being called in for his match, weighing in at just 205 pounds. So this is the reverse of Crash Holly. So now Sienna's backstage telling Taryn, look, you had nothing to do with me beating Gail Kim. And then Karen Jarrett comes in, going to Taryn that her behaviour is unacceptable, so both of you will face Gail Kim and Ali next week, and who knows what sort of rules I might think up of. So Richard Justice's debut is against Congo Kong. Kong pretty much squashes him with a Superfly Splash pretty quickly. And he goes to continue beating him down until Shearer makes the save. And Shearer knocks Kong out to the floor. So Shearer is the hero. Nope. And so then Mackenzie's with Johnny Impact saying, I came here to win that GFW belt. Now, I've known Chris for 15 years and know that he's not a pushover, and neither is Eli Drake, but tonight it's going to be me that gets the pin and me getting that title shot. So now it's in the LAX clubhouse saying, you know, low-key, you go out there and prove a point to that drunken fat boy James Storm by putting him in the hospital. And low-key's like, well, he'll be sorry about his damn luck. And Low-Key wins thanks to basically a distraction from Santana and a tag belt, admittedly, that the ref didn't see because Conan shows up on the apron. So actually, it was Conan that gets distracted by Low Ki. And then Storm hits the last call, but Santana basically caused the distraction. Who knows? So there you go. And in all honesty, the Low Ki James Storm match was really good. And to think of the matter, he don't work in the company no more. So now Braxton's checking on Ali, and Garza Jr. is like, "How's she doing, man?" And Braxton says, "No, she's fine. And you know what? It'd be better if you just get lost." And Garza's just like giving a dirty look and leaves. And Ali's like, he was just trying to be nice. And Braxton's like, "I know what he was really there for. Yeah, he saw the leaks as well." So then we got a video package on Cornette's views on American Top Team, saying that Lashley needs to stop them getting his head. And apparently there was another confrontation backstage that they didn't even air between GFW and American Top Team. So here comes Grado and Laurel Van Ness and Joseph Parks running down all the planning things that they need for the wedding, including his uncle Tobias bringing the wedding ring. And Grado wants Honky Tonk Man, and Laurel wants to bring her family from Victoria. And Joseph's like, "Victoria, Wisconsin?" And Laurel's like, "No, Victoria, Canada." And Grado's face suddenly goes like, "What?" And Joseph Parks like, "What?" Da-da-da-da-da, I guess. Whatever. So then we get a Taya video package. She's on her way. Probably next week, from what I remember. Then Bobby Lashley pre-recorded interview with American Top Team and says, "I've had my ups and downs, but I'm going to be doing both wrestling and MMA." And Dan's like, sure, he's had his ups and downs, but because he's not focused, and he'll always be a career runner-up if he doesn't drop wrestling and just focus on MMA. My confrontation with Jeff, it was about confusing kindness or weakness, and Lashley goes, "Look, I'll make the decision when it's time." So he ain't leaving, but he's still being part of MMA. Bah! Bah! So the main event was really good, as you'd expect, considering it's Eli Drake and Chris Adonis versus Johnny Impact and Eddie Edwards. But it was Drake that managed to hit Eddie with a low blow, which the referee didn't see, and the Gravy Train to actually get the win, so he ain't defending the belt. And yeah, there was a nice little bit when Eddie hit Drake with a Frankensteiner and then Impact hit him with a Starship Pain, but Adonis managed to save it at like 2.7 or something. So yeah, both Impact and Edwards are out of the race until Lashley and American Top Team show up. And Dan Lambert's like, "I can assume that you guys don't know who we are, because you'd have run away if you had." And Cornette says, "Look, if any member of American Top Team touches anybody, Lashley's going to be suspended and won't get the chance to go to Triple Mania." It's already happened! What? Bruh! But we have other business. You may have won that one, but you're defending that title next week against the guy that beat Lashley, Matt Sydal. And Sydal's looking, and Lashley's pissed, and Eli's pissed, and Cornette's, I guess, just pissed at the world. And there you go. That's that. So not too bad. Now tip into Lucha Underground. So we start off with the Mac versus Drago with one of the medallions on the line, and it was short but good. So Cobra Moon, basically, the finish came with Cobra Moon getting on the apron to distract Mac, I guess as he's going for a dive. Walks right into a kick from Drago, gets hit with a dragon's tail. Drago has one of the medallions. And then afterwards, Mac got his revenge, laying Drago out with a stunner. And then Vibor and Pindar laid out the Mac. So back from the break, Cueto reminds us that next week's episode is episode 100 of Lucha Underground. So, next week, it's going to be Dragon Azteca Jr. versus Pentagon Dark for one of the medallions, as well as Worldwide Underground versus Prince Puma and partners of his choosing, and it'll all be headlined by Mysterio versus Matanza. And then Mysterio comes out to confront Dario. And Cueto's just like, you must leave the building before Matanza's match tonight. And Mysterio's like, nope. And Dario's like, if you don't leave, I'm going to fire Dragon Azteca Jr. And Mysterio's like, I can't let my protege have his chances taken away from him. So Mysterio leaves, and remember, and then just as he's leaving, he's like, remember, Dario, once I'm done with Matanza, you're next. So now we've got the 5-0 street fight for the medallions. Now, sure, there was a load of, like, cop gimmicks, if you want to call it that. Archetypes, whatever. So, like, donuts and various cop cars and police tape and everything. And the thing is, it did seem like it was a proper sort of street fight, as if these guys were taking revenge on each other. But then Ryan's testicles got involved. They had coffee poured on them. They got tased. Everything. And it was good. But I'm surprised that they didn't give it as the main event, because of obviously what payoff we were getting with it. But yeah, Castro won, macing Ryan in the face and then slamming him onto a stack of riot shields with Michinoku Driver. So Cortez Castro gets the win. And then Matanza versus the Rabbit Tribe, the last match, but not the last in-ring bit. And this was just a squash match. The Tribe tried to get Matanza dancing. Matanza didn't give a shit. Admittedly, they got in a fair bit of offense, but obviously he squashed them easily. I think it was Saltador that got caught in midair with the Wrath of the Gods for the win. Matanza's ready for Mysterio. And then Puma cuts a promo. Which was really nice. But before Puma can start naming his partners, Mundo interrupts him and says, look, the history between us goes all the way back to episode 1 of this show, 3 years ago. So how about we make it interesting? Ultima Lucha Tres, you and me, title versus your mask. And Puma's like, yes. But then Dario goes, no. We can't have a mask match. We've already got a mask match. We've got Phoenix versus Marty the Moth. I'm not having any duplications. So, I propose title versus career. And Vampiro's like, sort of glancing to Puma as if to go, it ain't worth it, man. And Puma's like, I accept. Lays out Mundo and holds the title high, and it's like, to think this guy's going to the E soon. At least according to the rumours. You know, okay to solid show. Nothing exceptionally good this time, but considering we've got episode 100, hopefully it comes next week. Hopefully. Next to the honour of the Rings, I think that's how you pronounce it. So we start off with a no DQ match between Jay Lethal and the Beer City Bruiser, which Lethal wins. Very interestingly, we'll get to the end first, because there were some bits where it's like, this is why Colt Cabana exists throughout all this show. So Lethal was going to hit Hail to the King, missed, and Silas went, smart move. And Cabana just added, said no one ever. What? So he hit Bruiser with the lethal injection, but didn't pin him. Instead, tied him up with duct tape, attacked him with a chair before making him tap to a figure four. And then tried to get to Silas Young, who was, stopped by security and everything. So, yeah. Basically, Silas had to watch the stuff from the ramp, and security was stopping Silas from coming to ringside. So he was on commentary. Oh, that's why Silas said, smart move. That's what, because he was on commentary. But yeah, he's wanting his vengeance. So I don't know whether this Edinburgh street fight's going to be on TV at some capacity, because then it will fit into the storyline. Who knows? So then they have a promo for Suzuki versus Cody, and then Cody saying, I plan to stretch out that former MMA fighter and make him look dumber than his stupid haircut. It's like, wow. Then we had Caprice Coleman's segment airing with Daniels and Kazarian as his guests. And Kazarian's like, the company, the wrestlers, and the fans have all disrespected me, and especially Mr. Daniels. We aren't going to take it anymore. And Daniels goes, we're going to do everything to ruin the fan experience by burning this company to the ground. So now we've got a triple threat with Cheeseburger, Will Ferreira, and Howie Timbershea. Which is interesting. Ferreira, Howie did quite a lot, but eventually got thrown into a ring post and whatever, and low blowed by Ferreira, and Ferreira connects with a tornado GTC to get the win. So I guess it was Ferreira versus Timbershea. Why Cheeseburger was added in, I don't know. So Cheeseburger came out afterwards and said, I want to be a real man and challenge you face to face for a match next week. And Ferreira was like, fine. So I guess Cheeseburger versus Will Ferreira will be coming next week, I guess. And then Cody Rhodes and Adam Page versus Bully Ray and Mark Briscoe. So interestingly, Jay did a promo before the match saying, I got pulled because of the attack from the Kingdom last week which forced the doctors to keep me out the ring because it's a liability because of my injury. And then he's like pissed and don't remember, Ring of Honor, I'm still in the building, and that's a liability for you. And then bloody Cabana was like, this action is fast and furious. Tokyo Drift. Yeah, bring up that one. I mean, I have no problems with it. Like I approve. Marty got involved with his umbrella and everything. But then the Kingdom stormed the ring towards the end. Mark got knocked off, going for a froggy bow, I think. Cody then hit the crossroads on him. And Cody and Adam hightailed it out of there. With Vinny Marsaglia chasing him with an axe. Who have they got a problem with? Why would they have a problem with Cody? And I mean, okay, he's Bullet Club and they're like the 6-man tag champs, but they weren't when this was recorded. So awkward. And Mark got beat down on. Jay came to the ring and then got hit with a Rockstar Supernova himself. So the Kingdom pose. Bully Ray and the Briscoes are down. Riccoboni's pissed. Colt Cabana is awesome on commentary. Good show. Good solid show with 2 good matches. Sandwiched by something that's obviously got the storyline to next week. With the burger of the cheese. So I guess finally for this video. Wow. I'm going an hour again. So it'll take about 3 or 4 hours to send over. Good. WCPW. As they recap the stacked stuff. So then we cut to Blompier in the offices and, you know, he's like, look at it. And we get to see the Pro Wrestling World Cup trophy is just basically a pile of mess. And they thank Ospreay and Kushida for their performance and then apologise to everyone, you know, them and the fans, for what they had to sit through. And what they think by the sitting through bit is what happened afterwards, which is where it got cut off with the live feed on YouTube. So Kushida's celebrating, the Prestige come out, beat down on him, BT Gunn smashes the trophy up with a baseball bat. Ospreay and Kelly Six and Ashley Dunn all try to make the save. They're beaten up the hell out of. BT Gunn's whacking it so hard he breaks the baseball bat. So then Gunn and Henry threaten to concerto Ospreay. Dave's just like, F it, I've had enough. Lee's commentary. B. Priestley comes out to save her boyfriend and manages to disarm, get the chair off Hendry, get super kicked, but doesn't fall. So Hendry puts the double ankle lock on her and Gunn puts the crossface on her, and it's like, this angle's supposed to make the Prestige look like really uber heels. If anything, it makes the complete competition look utter shit for 5 months. And Blompier says, because of those actions, Joe Hendry and El Ligero are suspended. BT Gunn's got to defend his hardcore title against Primate again. And so now it's Drake versus Angelico. Again. Which wasn't too bad. But, yeah, it was weird. So, basically, Drake had to get the win by taping Angelico to the ringside barriers and basically won by countout. So it's like, okay, we're pushing Drake, but it's like, clearly somebody's been watching too many Toru Yano matches. So the South Coast Connection are backstage, and after their big performance from a few weeks or months back, or whichever, I can't even remember, they're sort of unhappy that they haven't been in action since, but they're in tonight because they're in a triple threat to get whoever wins to get a title shot at War Machine. So it's the Young Lions versus the South Coast Connection. So the Young Lions are Lucky Kid and Tarkan Aslan from Germany, and then Johnny Moss and Liam Slater. The big thing to note about this is whoever is his number one contenders. So what are the Bucks? Therefore, meaning this loaded stuff is going to be before that pay-per-view, I'm guessing. Yeah, pretty good. Interestingly, with Aslan shoving Slater off a top rope as he was going for his dive finisher and everything, and Lucky Kid schoolboyed Slater, who was in the ring, and yeah, the Young Lions get the win. They face War Machine next week. Could be an interesting one. Of course, for people, it probably is on. It won't be on YouTube yet. It will have been on Twitch. Unless you see this after Saturday, in which it already has been out. So, Angelico's being interviewed backstage, and it says, I offered to give Drake his win back, and it's like, it led me to losing by countout. So, we're going to end this. I want another match, except this time it will be Falls Count Anywhere. So that should be interesting. Then they recap Gracie versus Kirby from Stacked. And then Gracie paying off Big Bones led us into... Or Big Bones. Bad Bones. So it led us into Bones versus Kirby. So Kirby tried to hit the Sable Bomb, but Bones super kicked him in the head, hit him with a double underhook DDT, and got the win. So Bones is going to look like a pretty damn good guy, and Kirby looks like, wow, that push that he had got buried quick, didn't it? Because apparently Joe Hendry's more important. Part of me wonders whether this Joe Hendry thing is leading him not getting interest from WWE because they're booking him wrong. Who knows? Who knows? They then recap Gunn beating Primate. But interestingly, one of the medical staff is being talked to backstage, and apparently Primate is not being cleared to wrestle. And Primate's just walking in like, with the neck brace on and everything. It's like, he don't give a shit. And, Gunn's basically saying to Stevie Aaron that Primate hasn't been cleared, therefore you'll win by forfeit, but Primate comes out and we get the match anyway. Which was not too bad. basically Primate beats him. He nearly goes through the table himself, but then on the second attempt actually spears and drives BT Gunn through it. So yeah, despite the fact he isn't medically cleared, he still won the thing. Which is an interesting sort of, like, I guess, underdog story, if you will, for that angle, maybe? The big issue that you could tell with this is, I think, was either filmed on the night when Loaded happened, or the night as the pre-show leading up to the quarterfinals, the last 8 that you had on the second night of the World Cup stuff. Because for certain bits of it, you could see the crowd were just like, "Can it be over? Can I go to sleep, please?" It's like, nice. So, yeah, the crowd made this show just feel like it was a house show, if you will. Which probably didn't help because it was recorded in and around all the Pro Wrestling World Cup stuff. You know, pretty decent, you know, okay matches. But interestingly, they have also come up with the other thing that Blompier was talking about was some sort of punishment, which he's still trying to work out what it's going to be. So, I guess we'll see what that punishment is over the upcoming weeks. Because everything that I'm seeing is stuff that must be being taped for much later on. Actually, looking at this, yeah. So, yeah, there's some interesting stuff that isn't on the list here. So, either way, this video's gone about an hour again. But that's all the TV stuff done. Next week, I'll be covering the Impact stuff with the Triple Mania stuff, which remember, hasn't happened yet, even though it happened nearly 2 weeks ago. In fact, probably if this goes up on the Saturday, actually 2 weeks ago. So how it hasn't happened in Cornette's mind, real good. Ring of Honor will be... It might be the Atlanta stuff, because there would have been 3 or 4 weeks there to lead into the Death Before Dishonor stuff later on in September. WCPW continues, I guess, the fallout from the World Cup, and the build-up to Built to Destroy, I think is the next pay-per-view, which I think is October, for like first week. I'm not sure whether we're doing Raw, because I don't know what our own schedule is, but obviously you've got the somewhere in California, I think, might be Anaheim, but I don't know what's going to happen with that, because Monday Night Football is happening on at the same time, and normally when it's NFL, WWE realizes we can't compete, let's not try. So prepare for 3-4 months of utter shit. Oh no. SmackDown, I certainly will be covering. We've got all the fallout of the, I guess, the Mae Young Classic stuff, which I guess I'll be talking about in this bit next week as well. The SmackDown stuff for 205 Live, which clearly is going to be recorded, so it won't be live. And NXT with Pete Dunne versus Wolfgang, even though he's Scottish. But there you go. So, still to come from me, at least in terms of wrestling, the Mae Young Classic analysis of the 8 episodes that are available for you to watch right now, and the preview of the final, and who I think are the ones that are probably going to be permanently signed by the E. if that's even the case. Because some of them should be. Well, we know some of them already are, but some of the others, I'm just saying, keep an eye out for them. But there you go. That's roughly an hour and 10 minutes as it goes up. So, enjoy the AJ content over the weekend. There's a Halloween Horror Nights thing, if you're interested in that. There's an archive podcast of the full reveal of everything that is coming to Halloween Horror Nights later this month and into October, of course. Because why wouldn't they have it in Halloween time? I guess Sip and Snack. I don't know whether Owen did that. You've got the awards predictions archive podcast from myself, Owen and AJ, giving our early predictions for the Oscars. You've got My Gaming with Ash stuff coming. I think, yeah, if we have got a live Raw podcast, I guess I'll find out to make sure that it's on at least some video, or there'll be some tweet or something. Because I know, I think next week, we may also be out of action because of what Owen's got scheduled and everything. So, yes. With that, that probably is all I've got to say about that. These are still going to be awkward because it's not Owen saying it.